Amazing. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Sober Yoga Girl podcast. I'm so excited to be sitting here today with Simmone. And Simmone was a guest on a retreat I taught in April for the Soba Sisters retreat. And there's actually quite a few women who were on that retreat who have joined Mindful Life Practice community things and Sober Girls Yoga things. So you've probably met a Soba sister at some point. And Simmone just hit her 1 year sober on August 3rd. And when I saw that, I really felt like we had to have her here, join our community and join the podcast and just share her story. So congratulations, Simmone, and welcome.
Thank
How are
you.
you?
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
That's such a huge milestone, the 1 year. Can I ask, like, how did you celebrate it? Did you do anything special?
Yes. So, um, I bought a candle. It says, let me go grab it. Uh, I don't know if you can read that. It says, you being sober is a big effing deal, and I'm here for that shit.
Oh
Uh,
gosh.
I got my favorite Thai food. And I was just able to speak to my friends and go for a walk. It was quite restful, but I was more so just soaking it in. I journaled a little bit, did a little photo shoot, but it
That's
was
beautiful.
it was really pleasant. Lots of reflecting.
Yeah, that's huge. That's so huge. And did you think when you stopped drinking a year ago, like could you visualize or see forward to making it that far to a year?
No, I couldn't even imagine 2 months.
Yeah.
There was heard someone say, "Oh yeah, it's been 60 days. I don't even miss it." And to me back then it was just like I don't think I could ever do that. But it's still so surreal for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was wondering if you could share a little bit about like your journey and your story before sobriety.
Yeah. So Simone, I'm an ER nurse. I was very much like the gray area drinker.
Yeah.
When COVID hit and I was in nursing school, that's when my drinking really kind of took off. If I wasn't in class and I didn't have class or clinicals the next day, me and that red wine bottle were best friends for the night. And not even one wine bottle, maybe two. Um, and it just kind of progressed. And I was always saying to myself, well, it's it's a pandemic, everyone's drinking, and you've heard those percentages like alcohol sales gone up 300%. And for me, I was just like, well, it's everybody. It's okay. But the self-loathing and anxiety I had to deal with afterwards wasn't everybody. It was just me. And then I told myself, oh, once I get a job, I'll go back to normal. I'll drink, I don't know, once a month maybe. And that didn't happen. You have a tough day at work, um, you drink. And I work nights, so first thing in the morning, I had a glass of wine. So it just continued. Whenever I had 2 days off, I had a bottle of wine because I deserve this. But it started to get to the point where I was always anxious. You know, it, my my face was just always swollen. My relationships were suffering. I was in a relationship that I knew I shouldn't have been in, but drinking wine was, our thing, and it was like a teddy bear to me. Drinking wine and him was like a teddy bear. But after a while, it's just like I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror. Every time I looked in the mirror, I had those red wine lips. That those dreaded red wine lips, and it got old really fast, and I knew I needed to stop. Um, Never got a DUI, didn't hit rock bottom, and I like to say I never hit rock bottom, but I was going to that place. And then, my uncle passed from, he drank himself to death. He went from this tall narcotics detective to he was close to 100 pounds when he died. And so just seeing the different effects on someone who I dearly loved to lose his life, and then just looking at myself to the point where I didn't recognize myself, it was more than time. So I was scrolling on Instagram, Soba Sisters popped up because I had done, the whole Google search, am I an alcoholic? Do I have a drinking problem? And I guess, the algorithm. So saw Silver Sisters. They were doing, and it was like a very good discount. I was, laid up with my now ex-boyfriend. He was drunk. I was drunk, and I was like, I can't do this. So as the many dreaded, you know, purchases I made while drunk, I made the purchase to join Silver Sisters, and that was it.
Wow. Wow. I think you're maybe the first person I've ever met who said that they've bought like a sober program while drunk, like
Yeah.
just made the drunk decision to
Yeah.
sign up. I love that. And so what was it like in the morning? Like, did you remember that you had signed up? Did you get an email? Like,
Yes, I remember I signed up, but I was also like, what did I do? Because I definitely joined that first meeting hungover.
yeah,
I,
yeah.
but I they just like welcomed me, and then Megan, who's part of the Solar Sisters, she extended it. So I thought I was only going to do 30 days. So it's like you got 2 months for 1 month, and I was like, well, I can't waste it.
Oh, that's awesome. Wow. Yeah,
They
Megan is amazing, an amazing
Yes.
person. If anyone listening to this hasn't met her, she runs Soba Sisters and she does retreats around the world, like in the States, but also she's done some in, I think, Punta Cana, Costa Rica,
Mhm.
and of course Bali. And she's just this like beautiful, inspiring light. So a great person to be doing the initial sobriety with.
Definitely.
Mhm. And so tell me about, okay, so first of all, did you tell your boyfriend at the time that you were doing this sobriety thing? Like, how did that
Yeah,
go?
so he's like, yeah, okay, yeah, do 30 days. I don't think he I don't think he took it seriously. So I
Yeah.
did the 30 days, and then he was like, "Oh, okay, we'll have her drink," because he knew God, was it Merlot was like my favorite, so he would that was, our thing. I was like, "Well, I can't drink now because I still have that 2-for-1 deal." And then after 60 days, I was just like, "Well, 100 seems doable." So I did 100. And he was actually keeping track of the days. He was like, "All right, it's been 100 days. Let's drink again." Like, what? No. So, yeah, after that, I was like, this is not gonna work.
Did you find that it was like, I don't know, I found the longer I got into my sobriety, like, and I wasn't in a relationship when I started my sobriety, but the longer I went into it, the less likely I was to be wanting to be in a relationship or date someone that was still drinking. Like, was that something that you were navigating?
Yeah, I found myself because I knew the relationship wasn't right, but I also found myself like dodging his calls.
Yeah.
Um, he would always want to, hang out at night, and I would pick up shifts. Like I can't hang out tonight. I got work. So I just didn't even want to be around him. Like it was just, and you know, for lack of a better word, he was just always nagging me. He's like, okay, when are you gonna stop this? I was like,
Yeah.
I don't want to. This feels good. And then I was just like, well, I'm gonna go for a year. And then that's when I really started to the the more clear my mind was, the braver I got. And that's when I was just like, okay, this has got to end.
Mhm. Wow, I love that. The more clear my mind got, the braver I got. That's beautiful. So tell me about in those early days of sobriety, like what was the first 30 days like? What were the challenges and what were the wins?
Oh, so the one challenge would be my ex just like, oh, just let's just drink. It's, one glass of red wine is good for you because red wine was my thing. So just hearing just the nagging from which I call nagging from him.
Yeah.
Also, it was just I was really scared about my days off because it was like, well, what do I do? Like I don't really do much. I don't I don't have like my wine that I deserve. I mean, I even have a glass that says um a set that has a coffee mug that says before patients and a wine glass that says after patients, made specifically for wine after work. So I really struggled to find things to do in my spare time. But in the beauty of that, I've always wanted to try kickboxing. So there was this gym that they were offering free kickboxing class, and I was like, okay, well, I'm not drinking. Let me just try this. And I ended up loving this gym, so I ended up joining this gym. I still go every week. It's really small. They know me. They actually celebrated my 1 year with me. So just finding more friends, more like-minded friends, I should say. I got outside more. Um, I was with the extra free time. It was, I guess this is good and bad. I really had to take a good look at myself,
Yeah.
and realize I still had some unresolved, issues with, self-esteem issues, going through my mom's addiction and just not knowing myself. But the beauty in that is like I went back to counseling, went back to church and just try to find, my groove. So I was actually I felt like I was getting torn down, but in the end, I was building back up just because of the little things I was doing, like going to the gym, as small as that sounds. Like, went to the gym, um, started talking to, friends and family more, because it's really easy to isolate yourself, and just read reading more. I used to love to read, and then all of a sudden, I started picking that back up. So it's just really I guess I lost my safety net, which was, my red wine, my ex-boyfriend, but I got to know myself more. I start to like myself more because I used to go to the bathroom in the dark because I couldn't even look at myself. But then it got so much better. Just really finding myself, finding my groove and being more comfortable in myself. I admit I still have a long ways to go, but I'm getting there.
Beautiful. And you answered one of my next questions in that answer. I was going to ask, like, what did you do in what do you do in all the time when you went alcohol free? And I think you had some great examples there because I know that's a big thing. A big thing people worry about is like, what can I do with all my free time now? And I love that, you started kickboxing and you found that community at the gym. And I think that's so important, just getting out there and finding like-minded people who in the gym per se, it might not be that people are sober, but there's definitely the common interest of like well-being, health, like they don't want to be hungover in the
Yes.
morning. And so you share that with them.
Absolutely. And also I found myself resting a lot more
Mm,
than I'd like to admit, because you have all those great plans or like I'm not gonna be hungover, and I wasn't, but it's like I'm so tired. Um, but the great thing is instead of running on E going to work, because I would sleep maybe 3 hours before I went back to work to do a overnight 12-hour shift and dealing with people, and get Sarah, who also says she's a teacher, dealing with people all day with no sleep. Not a good not a good mixture. So I really got to rest, and it was actually a good rest as opposed to the broken sleep that you get when you're drinking.
yeah, yeah, that's huge. So at what point in this journey, okay, so you've done 60 days with Soba Sisters. At what point do you say, like, I'm gonna go across the world to Bali?
Oh, that was it. So Megan had mentioned it, and I had been wanting to go on a vacation because, I was at the point, I was like, okay, I'm becoming this newer person, a better version of me. It's like I felt like I had to do something big, but not too big. And I've always wanted to travel. And then my brother, him and his fiance had just went to Taiwan, where her family is from. And I was like just talking to him. I was like, I kind of just want to go somewhere. And there's this Bali trip. He's like, you should go. And you save a whole lot of money when you don't drink. So I had some like extra money. So I was like, I think I can swing this. Maybe an extra shift twice a month. And that was doable. So I was just like, I'm gonna do it. It was not, I didn't think it like step by step, which is something I usually like to do. I like to be very calculated, but I was just like, okay,
That's
we'll
amazing.
try it.
That's amazing. And so I think you would have been, you're probably around 9 months sober when you came, because that was April. Am I doing the math correct? 8 or 9 months sober, something like that.
Something, yeah.
Yeah.
So I felt super comfortable. It was a different airport experience because usually I'd be like, oh, let's go to the bar. But no, I was completely sober.
That's awesome. And how did, like, tell me about the week? Like, what was Bali what you expected? Like, what were the
It
benefits?
was it was just so it was just because I keep saying the word surreal, but I just could not believe I was there. Like I could not believe I went across the world. The farthest I went was Jamaica and DR. And I was like, I'm just gonna go. So it was just like once I got there, I was just like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I'm here. And the beautiful thing is like you guys are 12 hours ahead and I work nights. So once I was there, the first day, jet lag, but the second day I was like, wow, I'm out in the sun. This is great. And I had no problems acclimating to the so it was really just a time to soak it in. Let me know that, I'm deserving of good things because that's still I've come more at peace with it, but when I was drinking, I was just like, I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this. But, something as relaxing and as beautiful. And I was like, wow, I'm deserving of this. I can do this. And that was another thing. I was like, I can do things, like going across the world, like I can do this, it was, and I don't want to call Silver Sisters strangers, but, meeting somebody online is totally different than meeting them face to face and just getting that embrace from all the ladies. It was just one, I was proud of myself for going, and two, it was just like, wow, I couldn't do this again. And there were so many things that I've been wanting to do. Sidebar, it was that trip. I was like, all right, this has got to end with my ex-boyfriend. And then when I got back, I was like, I can't do this anymore. So,
Wow. So you were together for a long time in your sobriety. Like,
yeah, and
wow.
yes, we were, but it was just like every day I was just not returning his calls. And then Bali came. I was like, well, I still got to work a lot because I got to pay for this trip. So it was just, I guess I was leading him on. And I was too scared to let go of that security blanket. But afterwards, I saw I really was, the women there was really, they really built me up. And I don't think I disclosed that to them, like I was going through that. But then I was just like, that was me from a while ago, not now. So we have to cut ties.
And, isn't that so amazing how when you change environments or change perspectives, like when I think back to my journey, like a couple of my biggest relationships ended literally when I went on a vacation because I just like got out of the space. And then when you're away, you're able to really look at it from afar and be like, is this really fulfilling me? And then it sounds like you really just got like the clarity and the confidence to really step into your truth when you got back.
Absolutely. Like it's one thing to know something is wrong, but to actually do something about it is different. And so after maybe a month and a half of not seeing each other because I was dodging him, it was
Yeah.
I had to do it. It wasn't fair to him, wasn't fair to me, and so it was the right thing to do.
Yeah. So it's not easy, but really, really brave.
Thank you. Yes, it definitely is not easy, but brave. Yes, and the right thing.
Yeah. And so have you done any sober dating since then, or what's been like? You have.
So, it's so weird. Like people see changes in you before you see it, and so
Mhm.
everyone's like, "Oh, you have more energy now. Are you sleeping better?" I was like, "Yeah." And then it was just little things. So
Yeah.
maybe 3 months ago, I started dating Luis. I work with him. He's one of the internal medicine doctors.
Amazing.
We met at work.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, but we're keeping it under wraps because work.
Yeah. Yeah. That absolutely makes sense.
But
Wow.
it's
Oh,
great. So he knows I'm sober. I'm not drinking. It's fine if other people drink around me, but I'm not. Don't ask me to buy it. Don't ask me to drink with you. And so that was definitely something I put out there up front.
yeah. And I think that's so, um, it's just so important to be able to like set that from the beginning. And that's just kind of like the expectation or the standard. You just see like, is this person gonna
Mhm.
respect this lifestyle, and like, is this gonna work together?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Because that I think that's definitely not drinking is a standard I'm not willing to go back on when it comes to myself. There is
Yeah.
no compromise in that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll drink sparkling water in a wine glass, but that it.
You know, I have to tell you, I was just sitting here too and thinking as we were talking about the Bali retreat, I had this memory of meeting you actually. And I remember because I think on the first morning you had missed the very first yoga class, and then I think you slept in that day. And then I came up for breakfast, and I think everyone left the table except you were at the other end and I was at the other end. And so I came over and sat with you. And I don't think you knew that I was sober. Like we
No,
had
I
this
didn't.
conversation, yeah, where I asked you like, how long have you been sober? And then you said to me, are you sober? And I said, yeah. And I just remember there was like this spark of recognition in your
Yeah,
eyes, you know, that feeling of like, I
like
know you,
wow,
like,
other people.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And it was just such a heartwarming moment.
Yes.
And I think going into it, like I'm sure you might have remembered this, but during the retreat, I was kind of like, oh, I don't really want to work with sober women anymore, blah, blah, blah. And then
Yeah.
being with you guys really made me be like, no, this is like what I want to do. And it was little moments like that where it was like this instant connection and just feeling like we understand each other, you know?
We had a whole full-blown conversation and I didn't know your name till like the end. But that goes to show
Yeah.
there was you can connect with people on something that because it's life-changing. Going sober is, I mean, it it's just a different kind of lifestyle. Something else I wanted to say is that my family is like I've always been known for, academics. Um, but it was nice when my family members, like my cousins, my siblings, they're like, "I'm proud of you for quitting drinking." So that was one of my like highlights of becoming sober.
That's huge. Oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing. So, what's next for you in year two of your sober journey? Like, what are your dreams or hopes or plans?
So next, I after Bali, I decided to do one big trip. So hopefully next year I will really want to do Japan. Um, my just grow my savings account, which I'm able to do now. Continue with my relationship and really just more so hone in on the things I want to work on. More so, just body image issues. Um, that's always been a big thing for me. I'm starting to learn now to be, night kinder to myself. So just continue to be kinder to myself, love the body I'm in, appreciate it, because I am making it more healthy with, cutting out the drinking and cutting down on the sugar because that was a big thing after quitting drinking. And just travel and enjoy life a little more. I know journaling is something I want to get into, but I'm just so not good at it. I need like prompts or something.
Yeah.
But mostly traveling, relationships. I'm excited about this relationship. Um, to just continue to grow. I want to spend more time with the nieces and nephew. Um, just more time instead of isolating myself all the time, like I used to with my wine bottle.
Yeah. 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 Wow, amazing. Well, this has been such an amazing conversation and episode. And I just have one more question for you, which is if you could give some wisdom to yourself, like a year and a bit ago before you were starting your sober journey, what would that wisdom be?
Oh, one would be to know that you're deserving of sobriety. Um, you don't have to be stuck in, the hamster wheel because so many times I would just be like, well, this is just it. I wanted better, but I wasn't doing better for myself. So just knowing that you're deserving and able to do anything, anything that's right for you, whether it's leave a relationship, leave a job for a better one. Just know that you're deserving. Also, find a community, um, because it's so easy for your community, your friends, your family, whomever you spend most of your time with, it's gonna rub off on you. So if you're around negative people all the time, people who are drinking all the time, you're gonna be the second one. So just community, permission to love yourself and give yourself permission to, do better and know that you're deserving.
Amazing. Oh, awesome. Simmone, this has been such an amazing episode. So thank you so much
Thank you for
for
having
sharing
me.
your story with us. And yeah, I just can't wait to see your next year of sobriety unfolding.
Yes, I can't wait to see you in person again. Goodness, that's like traveling with the Swifties. I loved it.
You got to come back to Bali.
I will, definitely will.